Hey, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. It's Diane Hochman, and this is a series I'm going to call Home Business Confidential. I thought I'd give the new studio a whirl. The studio is my kitchen table, a black screen, a Yeti mic, my laptop, and a ring light. That's the studio. But you know what? You really don't need much to do video. I just kind of wanted to get a clean look for this. You can always do a green screen effect and other things. But for this series, I wanted not the office background. So here I am. And I want to talk about some of the topics that were life-changing to me. And I also want to talk about in this series, about things that were hard or things that were challenging or things that were wonderful and joyous, etc. If we haven't met before, yesterday I celebrated 25 years without a job. I have not been to an office or commuted in that long. In fact, anytime I have to get into the traffic, because I'm going somewhere or something, I'm always like, how do people do this every day? I was able to bring up my babies from home. And now I'm in a very interesting stage of life because I'm on my own for the first time in my life. So anyway, today's topic is something that my mentor taught me that changed me forever. I don't know about you, but I come from a long line of employees. Nobody in my family ever did anything entrepreneurial except for maybe some side gigs on the weekend, particularly the men. My dad did some moving gigs. My grandfather worked at a bowling alley. In fact, it's very interesting. The bowling alley that my grandfather worked at, if you guys are old enough to remember the movie Saturday Night Fever, the club that movie was about and filmed in was across the street from the Bay Ridge bowling alley that my grandfather worked at. So I was obsessed as a kid because we'd go down and visit him and the film crew was there and all kinds of stuff. And that was my very first R-rated movie. My aunt took me. My aunt's like my big sis. She's 10 years older than me. And she took me, and even though it was an R-rated movie, because it was about where we were from, we went, and I didn't understand the stuff that I understand now, but there's some naughty things in there, and obviously a suicide if you ever saw the movie. So I come from a long line of employees, and everybody was very trained to go to work, especially think about it. My grandparents were born in the 19-teens, 1914, 1919. So they went through the Depression. They were lucky to have work. And then my parents were born, both of them, during the war, which is interesting. Both my grandfathers, for medical reasons or different reasons, didn't serve. They served at home in factories and stuff. So my parents were born during the war, children of Depression, babies, employees, and everything about their being was to get a good job working for a big company, the phone company, the this, the that. And the biggest advice that I ever got was to become a teacher or a nurse. And of course, that didn't work out for me because I couldn't fit in those environments. I did get trained as a teacher. And then I student taught very briefly and said, I can't do this. Worked at a college and it was phenomenal. I loved my job. I was a student activities director. That was 25 years ago. But still the idea of being in the box and having to arrive when I was supposed to and et cetera, I didn't know at the time, but that wasn't, I thought there was something wrong with me. There wasn't something wrong with me. It's just that I was a different spirit. So coming from a line of employees show up and the employer tells them what to do. And by the way, this is really relevant to you if you haven't broken out in your home business the way you want to. So if you've been an employee or if you have been brought up by employees, that's the type of sensibility you have. And it was a good sensibility for the times. You showed up, you did your job, you worked hard, you barbecued with your family on the weekend, you had holiday with your family. It was a simple life. And many people ended up in lives of quiet desperation. But I think during the 50s and the 60s, it was kind of like what it was, and people were pretty happy with it. My dad was a mechanic. My mom stayed home with us until later on. She became like a lunch lady or a school monitor. She was that lady. They went to work when they went to work. They came home when they came home, and they were on the clock or they were off the clock, and they did a good job. They really don't understand me to this day, 25 years later. They don't understand the idea that I have my own business. So here's the thing. When you're used to somebody else telling you what your work is, you come into this industry, and we tend to sell. The industry tends to sell into that mentality. I just saw it like 6 times today in my feed this morning. We're going to give you step-by-step instructions. We're going to tell you exactly what to do. We tell people, oh, you get so confused and it's all so overwhelming. I'm going to save you because I'm going to hold your hands and I'm going to give you the step-by-step instructions. How many times have you heard that? How many times have you seen it? And maybe you've even said it. I know I have. I'm guilty of it. Because we want to soothe people's anxieties. We want to recruit them. But here's the thing. You and I know, okay, I'm talking to you. You and I both know that in this industry, you can't really hold someone's hand all day, especially if you're in network marketing. The person's worth, their monthly activity. If they're not actually in action, their purchase is worth $7, $15, $20, depending on the nature of your compensation plan. So you can't spend your whole day with the guy telling him what to do, especially if he's not doing what you're telling him to do. You have no choice. You have to move on. And that sounds cruel and mean and horrible. And Jim Rohn always said, have group environments, right? I grew up on Jim Rohn. If you haven't heard of Jim or looked at Jim, go over to YouTube and listen to him. Go listen to him. I'll teach you about life. He'll give you wisdom. So yeah, you have group environments and you have places for people to come and you create resources for them. But in the end, if the person doesn't figure out how to make their own work, they're going to struggle. Now, what does that mean? Make your own work. It means we're all waiting for the plan, the step-by-step instructions, the DMO, right? Tell me what to do every day. And we think that somebody else is going to give the answer to our business. Each one of us is an individual. Today, we have so many modalities to make contacts, to connect with people, whether they're going to be clients for you, whether they're going to be downline in teams for you, whether they're going to be customers for you. We can do it on TikTok. We can do it on Instagram. And on just Instagram alone, we could do it all these different ways. TikTok, we've seen a huge change because it's a lot of live selling now. So it's funny, live selling wasn't a thing, right? Remember the day of infomercials, right? Infomercials were on 24 hours a day. You'd go, if you were up late at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, every channel, you'd be like frustrated. There's nothing on because it's all infomercials. Well, guess what? Infomercials are back in a whole new way. And it's a whole new medium and a whole new mode of selling. And I watched some ladies that I know, they're incredibly good at it. They're like regular, they like the sham wow guys, they're out there pitching and going and blowing, and they're amazing. They're social sellers. So there's all these new mediums. There's all these new ways, and there's still the old ways, the classical make connections, connect with people, invite them to a presentation. Same thing, getting those appointments made. If you're a coach or you do consulting or anything like that, you have your Calendly connected to your website so that you can set appointments. So you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody. Old school, new school, live selling, short video, long video, everything in between. So if you're sitting around and waiting for somebody to tell you what your work is, you're going to drown very, very, very quickly. You have to become self-aware. I was very self-aware in some ways, not in others. Trust me. Did a lot about that last night. A lot of ways I wasn't self-aware, but I knew that some of the things that I was being taught weren't going to work for me. Some because of my personality, some because of my locale, because they were telling you to bring people to a meeting that was 3 hours away. I couldn't bring people on Tuesday night to a meeting that was 3 hours away. Some because of my life at home. I had small children. I couldn't be up all night and I couldn't have strangers in my home in the evening. It's bath time and I have people coming in the door. I wanted to tuck my kids in. I wanted to hug my kids. I just looked at my makeup. It's very uneven. I'm not good with the makeup. I don't know about this business. Maybe I should just like start doing my lives in my pajamas. I think I might. This is really the way you find me most often, but I thought I'd put on me. It's this one. It's very uneven. In any case, I had to learn to make my own work. My upline was 3 hours away. They did everything meeting based, and I couldn't bring people to the meeting. There wasn't even a conference call at the time. It was all local, and I wasn't local. And I couldn't follow their model because I was bringing strangers into my home because I wasn't going to go rent hotel rooms for 3-4 people. And I couldn't be out all the time because I had small children. So I had to learn to make my own work. And that was the magic. And then when I met my mentor and he started really talking to me about this, it was powerful. Meet any person that makes any significant income. They've made their own work. They've decided what their medium is going to be. And the most important thing is whatever they choose to be their work, because it all works. You know, that's such a cheesy thing to say, right? You know, and everything works. It does. Everything does work if it's consistent, if it's attractive to the prospect, right? It's got to be attractive to the prospect. And guys, by the way, if you're not on my newsletter, I should have put it on there. It's DianeHochman.com. Make sure you're on my newsletter. Make sure you're following my fan page, or I don't even think they call them anymore, my Facebook page, which is Diane Hochman Training, because I put a lot of business stuff over there on my Facebook profile. I'm social. I talk business, but it's a lot of social stuff. And I'll put my escapades and my travels and my different things. But the business page has all business. The YouTube channel, you know, I'm going to be streaming. So that's a great place where you can catch all of these. But making your own work will change your career. It will also save your pocketbook because so many people are out there buying things that they think are going to tell them what to do. You got to drop that idea today. You got to drop that idea today. Yes, you need to learn how to generate a lead. You need to learn how to make a sale. You need to learn what your link is for whatever you're promoting. But beyond that, stop waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. Stop expecting to be treated like an employee when you're not an employee. And start understanding that the amount of time and energy you're going to get from those that you seek guidance from will depend on the amount of revenue you're bringing into their business. It's not me. It's not terrible. I sell stuff. I sell a lot of things. If somebody wants time and mentorship and guidance, they need to either be buying or producing or bringing me energy. Because there's people in my life that just bring me energy. We don't even do business together, but I'll do anything for them because they feed my soul. They bring me energy. So make your own work. You might want to write that down. I need to make my own work. What is my work? You got to answer that for yourself. And then you have to ask yourself about, who have I been waiting for that I thought was going to be the secret, instead of understanding that the secret is me? Who have I been waiting for and potentially blaming for not being where I want to be? And by the way, we all do this. We all do this. Everybody does this. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Maybe you get into a mastermind and you decide it's not what I thought it was going to be. Maybe you move to work with somebody and it's not what you thought it was going to be. And we sit and we suck our thumb and we feel bad for ourselves. And then at some point we have to stop and we have to go, okay, what is my work? What is my medium? Where should I be? What fits my personality? You might be a Discord person. You might be a Reddit person. I never go over there. Some people are into Pinterest. I never go over there. It's not my medium. LinkedIn, not my medium. And see, if you're running around waiting for somebody to teach you or buying another $297 course in the name of somebody telling you what to do, that's the wrong reason to buy it. if you're buying another course so that you can stack another skill into your toolbox, so you can, I talk about stacking skills all the time, you can stack another skill into your toolbox, that's a whole different game. So guys, that's my thought for today. This is Home Business Confidential. That's something that my mentor shared with me over a lunch, because I was so frustrated with people thinking, why don't they do this? And why don't they do that? If you have a business, you know, right? Why don't they? Nobody wants to work, all that stuff. And he said, they don't know how to make their own work. And unfortunately, I can give you a course. I can, you know, how many people have I taught about email? Thousands. How many people have an email list? Not that many. Right? How many people have I taught about conversations? Thousands. How many people are having conversations every day? Not that many. It's not because the information isn't there. It's because the person hasn't taken responsibility for themselves. And until they do, there's not much you can do other than love them, encourage them, inspire them, you know, provide resources. But we all have to take responsibility for our next level. And that's something that during a time of crisis in my life, I didn't do either. So I'm not throwing stones. I'm just sharing what I've got over these 25 years. So everybody, DianeHochman.com, go get on that list so I can send you love notes. And if you like this, feel free to share it. I'm getting this thing going again, and I would really appreciate your support. I'll see you guys later. Take care.